I strongly believe that you become the average of the 5 people you surround yourself the most. And my experience has taught me in truly becoming intentional who you want to surround yourself with. People tell me all the time that, oh, you inspire me, and it's so humbling to reflect on how far I've come from where I came from.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, you see the person that I am today, maybe high and mighty in their eyes, but only because I stand on the shoulder of giants.
Yeah. Sometimes life has to break us down in order to turn us around. Hello and welcome to Talking with Terry TV. I am your host, Terry Cardula. Thank you for joining us on this episode. In today's Business Spotlight, we're diving into a story of strength, grace, and gratitude. My guest today is a woman who has turned adversity into purpose and built a business that empowers community across the globe. Aurelia G is the founder and CEO of the Elevation Global Solutions, a global outsourcing company that bridges visionary business owners with world-class talent through creativity and technology. Welcome, Aurelia, to the show.
Thank you. Good morning.
So tell us about your journey before the Elevation Global Solutions. Who were you before, and how did you tell us about your path to get here?
Okay. So I was born and grew up in the Philippines, came to the United States in 2009. It's kind of a little cold in here. I came from a country that only have 2 seasons, only hot and very hot. So, but yes, Aurelia was a country girl with a city heart. I love the lights, but I love the countryside as well. So,
Me too.
But before Elevation Global Solutions, I was already running a business. I have a real estate team, and I came to a realization that I was born to build and to lead. So there's a lot of epiphany that showed me that I need to do this, I need to do that, and those calling just came to me, and I made sure I found a way to realize them.
I love this. And you've built a business rooted in people, purpose, process, and passion. What inspired those 4 pillars?
So my pillars come from experience, both in experience and reflection in life. People, because I believe that every relationship, every business begins and ends with human connection.
Yeah.
And process, I believe that system provides structure and stability and allows you to become more efficient and makes things easier.
Yeah.
Allows you to leverage and be able to duplicate what you have built, and allows others to copy what you've done.
Yeah. And in my opinion, like systems and processes allows us to time collapse. So when we have those in place, we can do things way faster.
I'm all about efficiency.
Yes.
I was like, when I'm talking to my team, if there's like 5 seconds of break, I was like, guys, what's going on? That's
Right.
5 seconds of our life we'll never get back.
Exactly. I like this. I love this because I'm the same way, and I'm like at stoplights. Apparently, we spend like 5 months of our lives at stoplights. So I'm always doing some energetic stuff at the stoplight because I'm like,
I think
this
part
is
of it
wasting
is
time. Here we go. Let's
also
go.
I have ADHD, so I can't like sit still while I'm like a very bad driver. Sorry. Is this recorded? And I like,
gosh,
if I have somebody that needs to ride with me, I was like, are you sure you're okay? Because I'm like,
Do you want to drive?
no, because if this is the lane and this lane is not moving, then I can see another lane moving. I have to be in that lane.
You came from a call center right before coming to the United States, and then you've seen the power of global partnerships firsthand. So what were some of those early experiences that taught you about leadership and service?
So working in the call center has opened my eyes to what technology can do. It bridges the gap between local globalization, innovation, that I saw how, regardless of where you're at in the world, if you have something to bring to the table and contribute, that I think that the technology allows people to actually have a platform to grow.
Yeah.
And, regardless of where you're at in the world, I was in the Philippines, but I was just a call center agent.
Yeah.
In fact, I was a not very good call center agent.
So call center was not your calling, obviously.
I was no, it wasn't. It wasn't. To me, it was just like an opportunity to practice my English because,
Yes.
English is
Yes.
not my first language. And sometimes when I get nervous or it's later in the day, I get English bankrupt. So,
Yeah. Okay, so going back to and you were talking about the 4 pillars. So tell me about the other 2 pillars.
yeah. So we got the people, process, and purpose. Purpose is what keeps you going every morning, regardless of how tough situations are. It what reminds you why you're doing what you're doing.
Yes. Powerful.
And passion is, I believe, regardless of how hard things are, because you love what you do, it's what keeps you going and continue to do what you do.
Wonderful. I love this. So, when you first started Elevation Global Solutions, what was your biggest why? And how has that why evolved over time?
The birth of Elevation Global Solutions came from an experience that I had. In 2018, I was invited to speak at a regional event for Keller Williams. And it took me about almost 3 hours to get to where I needed to go at the hotel, which would normally be 30 minutes. And I realized to myself that to me was a one-time occurrence.
Yeah.
And I thought about all the parents, the people that have to commute every day on average for 3 hours. That equates to 15 hours a week, 60 hours a month, 3 full days.
Yeah.
That's being stolen from their lives, taken away from their family. And I realized, as a social entrepreneur, I'm always thinking about how do I solve these social problems?
Yeah.
Social problems of, time being stolen from your family and the traffic. And, imagine these people, 30% of what they make, or perhaps 40%, goes to, they have to eat out, they have to buy clothes, and just wasted resources,
Yeah.
and traffic, commute, all of that create carbon footprints.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, if I can build something where I can provide job opportunities for people where they'll be able to work from home, that will allow them to spend more time with family, and then also reduce the people that are commuting every day. If I can help provide 1,000 jobs, 5,000 jobs, how much carbon footprints will actually that, reduce?
Right.
And then also at the same time, so when I first started Elevation Global Solutions, my core values were family, growth, and impact. And I believe that if I'm able to provide job opportunities for people to be able to work from home at the same time earn a decent income,
Yeah.
I will able to reduce carbon footprints, and at the same time, with the profit that I'm making, I would be able to support different nonprofit organizations that making an impact in, making a better world.
Yeah.
And over time, I realized that culture is what's most important. So when I first started Elevation Global Solutions, my thought process was just to provide opportunities. Later on, I've realized it's so much more about building new leaders, providing platforms where people can rediscover their passion, their purpose. I have people that work with me that in their retirement age, and they came and then they said, I have found a new meaning in a work environment and purpose for his life. I have people that work in the city that after a year of working with me, with the company, have been able to go back home to the
Yeah.
countryside or their family, because they tell me the story of, for 10 years I've missed every Christmas, every New Year, every birthday, every fiesta, because they can't go back home because they have to work in the city.
Yeah.
And now being able to stay, where they live with their parents, I give them a day off for their birthdays, their father's birthday, their cousin's birthday.
Yeah.
So, because I think that the purpose of business is to fund the perfect life.
Yeah, and creating freedom, right? And so that you can spend more time with family and friends and the things that enrich our lives even more.
Absolutely.
And so having that freedom to do so is, I mean, that's why we go into entrepreneurship,
Absolutely,
right? Is to create
yes.
that. And
And
oftentimes we get trapped by doing all the things. But your company, I mean, it's a virtual assistant program, or it is a virtual assistance business, and so you can give people back their time.
Absolutely. That's the other side of that is, during that time, I've had my assistant for about 2 years already, if not 3 years. And she have created the processes, the checklist, the playbook on the back end that allowed me to, do multiple transactions at the same time without feeling overwhelmed. And I realized not only will I be providing job opportunities for people, but I'm also providing leverage for business owners here in the United States. I'm building multiple businesses. I have 7 virtual assistants myself. And people ask me all the time, how do you do everything that you do while I serve on different nonprofit boards and I cook at my kids' school kitchen twice a month or once a week, and I still play guitar and I watch silly drama on their phone.
Right.
I scroll on Instagram.
But you've mastered the way of outsourcing. And so I think that is such a key
Absolutely.
piece that a lot of
Yes.
entrepreneurs, we forget
Yes,
or we
because
don't take care of it.
entrepreneurs every day, you understand the grind, the pressure, the demand of being able to deliver. And if I'm just doing it by myself without any help at all, there's no way. Especially, I'm consciously always thinking about efficiency because I know that's my growth opportunity. I'm not very systematic. I'm not naturally systematic, but knowing what your growth opportunities are, what you're not very good at, and finding leverage and help to help you overcome that, I think is key. Like awareness, I call it my triple A. Number 1 is awareness. Awareness of what you're good at, capitalize on that. Awareness of what your growth opportunities are, what you're not good at, and acknowledging that this is something you're not very good at and taking action.
Yes.
I think is the key to, to success.
I love this. And we're going to take a quick little break and we'll be right back with Aurelia G.
I'm Karen Zupa, founder of Complete Business Accounting. We're not your typical accounting firm. At Complete Business Accounting, we partner with you to make sense of your numbers so you can grow with confidence. From strategic bookkeeping to fractional CFO support, we provide the structure, insight, and clarity your business needs to thrive. You don't start a business to be worried about your finances. And with Complete Business Accounting, you won't have to be. Let's move your business forward. Visit cbaccounting.net to get started.
Friends don't let friends shop for health insurance alone, especially online with a bottle of wine. Skip the spammy calls, endless emails, confusing options. We've got you covered, literally. I'm Deb Salmons with Imagine Choice Customized Health Solutions. No more guesswork. We shop for best plans for you with lower rates the healthier you are. We personalize your plans with confidential information and it's hassle-free. Let us take the stress off your plate so you can focus on what matters most. Imagine Choice, health insurance with a human touch.
Welcome back. So we've been talking about all things business, but offline you were talking about the last 2 years has not been necessarily all rainbows and butterflies. It's really been a time filled with loss and self-doubt and adversity. Share about that experience and what some of the messages that you received out of that time. Which I know is a loaded question, like, girl.
Yeah. No, but I'm actually excited to share about it. Now that I'm on the healing journey, I feel that it's an opportunity. I shared with you that I live with 3 principles, 3 belief system, and number 1 is change the way you look at things, and the things that you look at change, and always coming from curiosity versus judgment. And the last one is your worst days is somebody else's best day. I find that to be my core belief system, that in every day when things happen, especially challenging moment, and of course gratitude, right? I just circle around those 3. And the last 2 years, I would say even 3 years, I would say are the toughest time of my life. Watching what you built crushed, you've worked so hard for, the losses. And, I asked myself, why is this happening to me? And even my brother said, you're kind, you're giving, you always put yourself last, and you always give to others. And I think I was hurting to watch him hurt because he was really, I think he's hurting because he sees my pain. And I come to the realization thinking that, I think God always uses circumstances in our life and our family or God uses circumstances to mold us to become the person He wants us to be in the future. And I realized that everything that I'm going through or I have gone through has a purpose and a meaning, because I know that one day I'll earn the right to tell my story because I have been through it.
Oh, gosh, that's so good.
It's not because
So good.
I've read it from somewhere. It's not because I've heard it from someone. I've walked the walk. I've worn the shoes. I've felt the pain.
And I think there's a lot of people right now listening the last 2-3 years or whatever. I know that I went through a really dark time a couple years ago as well.
The loss that I had is something that I think is my ultimate top, most important to me, and to watch that crumble is hardest. And that's my family. Going through a separation and a divorce, I wouldn't say it's not the worst, but it's ugly. But it's not the worst, because I know some people, they went through worse situations than I am. So that's why I'm still grateful. The father of my children, he's a wonderful person, and somebody said to me, Aurelia, you are wonderful, he's wonderful, you're just not wonderful together. And I realized that because of the different cultural differences, and that's what really torn us apart. We were both growing, but we grew apart because I was running, 1,000,000 miles an hour, and he was not. And I think that's okay. I had to respect that. But I think the hardest part is just that everything that I have done from the very beginning is for my family, for my children. And I grew up in poverty, and my dad passed away when I was 15, and my mom was our sole provider. And, when my dad passed away, he didn't leave us a single penny. And later on in life, I was like 18 years old, I think maybe 18 and 19, I'd start meeting people that knew my dad, and they said, oh, you're Rudy's daughter, and we knew your dad. And they would say, your dad is kind and giving, is selfless, always putting himself last. And, it dawned on me that my dad never left us a penny or any type of wealth. He left us the most beautiful legacy of being a kind human being. And since then, I realized, that's what I want to leave my children. I want to leave a legacy that my kids would be proud of, that someday they'll meet people, and those people will tell them, I knew your mom, and that they would say positive things. So that's every day. I just try to do good to people that they would remember me by. And my mom was always been the hardworking person. She sold everything, from Tupperware to broomstick to bags, house and lot. But, we are the only one that my mom never sold. As children. I mean, kidding aside, there's people in the Philippines, they would sell their children for profit or for money, My mom is the most hardworking person I know, and the most generous. And I think those are the gifts that I think I would treasure the most from both of my parents. Getting those gifts.
Obviously, you've been faced with a lot of adversity. How have you found the courage to continue to show up for your team, your family, and for yourself?
It's tough. There are days when I don't want to get out of bed, but I'm reminded of the people who believes in me, knowing that there's people that are waiting for you to be there. They are the reason why I show up every day, my team, my kids, my family. And I believe that showing up, I'm empowering my people to also do the same. That regardless of what circumstances you are having in life, that not showing up is not going to make a difference. A perfect example, we just lost my stepfather-in-law, who I love dearly. We lived with the man for 14 years, and he just passed away. And I was showing up for a coaching call. My coach said, "Do you want to cancel the call?" I said, "No. You know, Uncle Bob has always believed in me, and I believe that showing up today is honoring his life." So I tell my people all the time, regardless of what you're going through in life, make a decision of, will showing up make a difference on the circumstance, or will it make a difference on your mood, your aura, what you're gonna have, what you're going through, right? Or by not showing up, how is that going to change the course?
Yeah.
You know, or how will that impact the current situation? And so, you know, during tough days, and I know I don't want to get up, I still get up because I know that when I see my team, they empower me. They remind me of the purpose why I do what I do every day.
And sometimes just showing up is showing up and not having it all figured out. It's going through the motions.
Absolutely.
You know,
And you don't have...
And being vulnerable and real. And like we were saying earlier on another episode, we talked about just being human, right? And just we're having a human experience.
And showing up doesn't have to show up always being strong.
Yeah.
You know, just being authentic and vulnerable, showing up saying, "Hey, I'm not coming in at 100% today."
Yeah.
And that allows them to fill up that missing part, the gap, and allows them to lift you up and giving grace.
So how has your faith really guided you through this season of rebuilding and healing?
Honestly, I wouldn't say that my faith was intact during this whole entire process. It's one of the things that was shaken up.
Yeah.
But God led me to people that reminded me that people will always disappoint you. People will always not be there for you.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't focus my sight on people. It's not the people that I need to focus on, it's God. Because I myself probably have disappointed somebody else too, that hopefully did not stray them away from God. But when I realized that, you know, God, like I mentioned earlier, allows you to go through this phase in life. And I think that having faith and, you know, anchored in God has allowed me to realize and always remember that there's always an opportunity to rebuild. You know, a chance of starting all over again.
Yeah. So you talk a lot about grace, and not just for others, but also for yourself. What does extending grace to yourself mean for you now?
I used to be guilty of watching TV or maybe, you know, scrolling on things online. But one of my mentors said to me, you know, everything that you do, you have to think of it as, are you spending or are you investing? So it's a perspective that I also have now been practicing, is what the spending means. When you spend, you don't have a lot of return of investment, or you don't have a return of investment. But when you're investing, even though you're spending, you're getting something in return. For example, I used to not like to watch TV because I always felt guilty, thinking, this is a waste of time, or I should be doing something else. But now I realize when I watch TV, it's almost always just when I do it with my children.
Yeah.
I don't watch TV just on my own, just for the sake of watching TV. Now I realize watching a movie, watching TV is investing on my relationship with my children.
I really like that. I really like that, because I think sometimes we can be doing things in self-care and we feel guilty for doing things. And when we're feeling guilty energetically, we're almost like resisting it, right? And so there's no benefit that's going to come from that. But when you're realigning it, changing the perspective,
Changing,
right?
it's all about perspective.
Yes.
Change the way you look at things, and the things that you look at change.
Yeah. So for someone who's watching, who's in their valley, feeling burnt out, uncertain, or afraid, what would you tell them about finding gratitude that when life feels hard?
I think that goes back to one of my core belief system, that your worst day are somebody else's best day. And what you have today is somebody, they're praying for it, they're wanting for it. Even when, I have my hardest day, when I'm exhausted, somebody else is in the hospital, praying for second chances of life. And I find gratitude in that everything that I have is somebody's wishing.
Yeah. And I oftentimes, for myself, when things are going wonky and I don't understand it, even in my darkest days, I would ask the question, what's right about this that I'm not getting? Because there was something that I couldn't see. And if we ask that question, what's right about this that I'm not getting, oftentimes we'll see the answer, we'll hear the awareness, we'll see the insight, or we'll have the insight or awareness that comes through to it that allows us to be like, okay, this is it, right?
Yeah.
This is so powerful because I think it just reminds us of the true resilience doesn't mean avoiding the fire. It means learning to rise from it again and again with grace and gratitude. What has the journey taught you about the people you surround yourself with, and how do you choose who's in your circle?
I strongly believe that you become the average of the 5 people you surround yourself the most. And my experience has taught me in truly becoming intentional who you want to surround yourself with. People tell me all the time that, oh, you inspire me, and it's so humbling to reflect on how far I've come from where I came from.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, you see the person that I am today, maybe high and mighty in their eyes, but only because I stand on the shoulder of giants.
Yeah.
I've been incredibly blessed to have incredible mentors that have selflessly helped me to become the person I am today. And I am proud to say I also have incredible friends that show up in the worst times, not for convenience. They show up and go out of their way, not because they can, because they want to, even if it's an inconvenience to them. And for that, I am truly grateful for. The hardest times of my life, I realized this is where I am really seeing the fruits of my labor. Not labor, but
Just
relationship is so
relationships.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm just a relationship person.
Yeah.
And this last season of my life is when I've seen how the relationships I have built in the last 13, 15, 16 years coming to America, people are showing up for me.
Yeah.
And I'm extremely grateful for that, for the people that continually show up and empower me and give me light in the darkest moments of my life.
Well, again, just a testament to building those relationships and who you surround yourself with, and who are you surrounding yourself with that makes up that support system that can pick you up when you're having a bad day. Because we're notorious for helping pick up other people, but when we can be in a place of receiving support when we're in a down time, is powerful and profound. So where can people connect with you and find out more information about you?
So you can find me on Instagram, Aurelia G, Serial Boss Lady.
I love it, serial boss lady.
Yeah, it's actually one of my clients that said that to me. You're like a serial boss lady because I do this, I do that.
Fantastic.
I have my virtual assistant company. I have a real estate team. I also have a financial agency, and I do construction on the side, just on my house. I sell car on the sides, yes. But I just love exploring different things. But really, in summary, I just want to create an impact in any way that I can.
Well, it's been absolutely delightful to have you here today, and just a testament of your strength and your faith and your commitment to saying yes to yourself and keep going, right? If today's conversation sparked a new perspective in finding gratitude, be sure to comment below and share with those that are ready to hear this message. If you're in Colorado or traveling to Colorado, make sure that you check out the Entrepreneur Girlfriend Hour, a live studio experience that you don't want to miss. And as always, be bold, be brave, be fearless, be the magic of you. Massive love, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell to find out about my upcoming shows. Thank you for tuning in today, and I'll see you next time.